It's important for builders and contractors to manage risk. One of the tools they can require of their superintendents or project managers is to implement daily logs. This is especially important if a dispute arises. Documenting on a daily basis activities, progress milestones, manpower, major deliveries, equipment, and weather and site conditions can be valuable information. Daily logs can also be reviewed in a claim or legal proceeding by the opposing party, so it is important information is recorded accurately. 2 reminders. First, remember that companies and contacts that you're going to be referencing in a daily log should be added to the project directory. Also, activity types is a global setting that we discussed in a separate video on the documentation settings. You may want to review the activity types and make sure that that's been customized for your company's needs. Let's add a daily log. From the projects on the main menu with a project selected, I'm in the documentation module. I go down to daily logs, actions, and add manually. I'm going to specify a unit price contract, and we'll tag the project manager and add a brief note. Notes can be added to throughout the day. You do have the option to import from a previous day. We're going to cover that in a few minutes. Then I'll click Add and Next, and then drag and drop files. If you're entering daily logs through Corecon Mobile, you'll have the option to add photos or files from your smart device, or in the case of photos, those can be taken while the daily log is open, and they will automatically be attached to the daily log. Then let's click on Add and Finish. That brief wizard 2 steps basically completed the header of a daily log. The rest of the activities should be added throughout the day. First, let's go to activities. Notice that you can add them manually, import from a unit price contract, from change order items, from multiple activity types, or scheduling activities. Let's use the import prime contract unit prices. Activities is a way of documenting your production or progress. We're going to add some concrete we've completed by the linear foot, just to as a unit of measure, and some asphalt by the square yard. And click Add and Close. Next, the weather and site conditions. If daily logs are being entered through Corecon Mobile, this process is slightly different. The reason is when you're adding from a smart device, Corecon is going to look at the location of the device and pull the weather in based on that location. When you're entering it through Corecon browser solution, it's going to base that weather on the project address. Add a few items there and click Add and Close. Weather is something you might record several times a day. Manpower, the manpower for your company, but also the manpower for subcontractors. So we'll go to Add Import Items. Notice that you can add manpower from the project directory, from firms you've referenced over the past 2 weeks, from the labor time card summary for the day and prime, and the import items from cost database. So let's start with the importing items from the cost database. We'll say there were 1 person on site for 6 hours, and we'll select the company and click Add and Close. You can also import your own company's time cards if those have already been added, or you could manually enter these as well. So this would be your company. and click select. We'll say there were 2 truck drivers. They were each there for 7.5 hours. And we have a place for comments. We can click add a new. We had 2 flagmen. They were there for 6 hours. And a place for comments. We also have to select the company, which would be your company in this case. Add and close. You may need to add manpower hours throughout the day. Major equipment, whether it be owned or rented, can be added manually, imported from the previous 2 weeks, from equipment time cards for your company, and for equipment items from the cost database. Let's also add one that we've rented. The next subject is the major material deliveries. While these can be entered manually for materials delivered on site, if you've already created purchase orders for these deliveries, we'll make it much easier on the person filling out the daily log. And click add and close. Visitors also can be added manually or imported from the project directory. Again, in each case, you may need to do these several times a day. Once your daily log is complete, go up to the reports, daily log details. You have quite a few different options here, including one with documents. Also one with linked files and images. And click OK. If you go back out to documentation, you also have a log style report. Let's just choose one of these. You can also create a new daily log by copying from a prior daily log. To do this, I'm going to switch projects. I'm going to go into daily logs and figure out which day I want to import. In this case, we're going to import this one. So back to documentation, over to daily logs, actions, we'll click add manually. When we scroll down to the bottom, we have the option to import from a previous day. And we can select that day and decide which items we want to import. I think I'm going to import everything but weather. And click add and next. Again, I could add files or images. In this case, let's link an existing file from a feature. And we're going to import from a copy of a purchase order. Next, the activities. The daily log we reported from had none added, so they're going to end up blank. We do want to add the weather. And click add and close. Next one is the manpower. Looks like they had 5. We need to change that. So let's open that entry up. Today only 3 people showed up and they only worked 5.5 hours. Place for notes. Major equipment, we'll leave that the way that is. Major material deliveries, we'll add from a PO. Click add and close. It's a good idea if you're adding material deliveries to also attach a copy of the delivery ticket. You also might want to tag a few visitors. When you're done, again, you can print the daily report details here. You go back out to the documentation module. You also have the ability to print log style reports. If you'd like to know more about the subject covered in this training video, we encourage you to go to the knowledge base, to leads and projects, to documentation, and then to daily log. The information covered in this training video, as well as more detailed information, can be found in this knowledge base article.